Hey there, this is Tim Sutter from Grassroots Motorsports. We're here with our latest project car. This is a 1991 BMW 318is. We dragged it out of a towing yard in Highlands, North Carolina last summer. We paid $450 for the car, and the reason is it had sat for a while and it has an engine problem. You know, when you buy these cars, you pay low money. You don't, it's like gambling. You don't know what you're gonna hit. So on the plus side, the car has pretty much no rust on it, all original body panels. It's a slick top, which means it has no sunroof, which is considered desirable. And a 91 318is was a 1 year only, last of the E30 models, except a couple convertibles that followed. But it is considered a more modern motor, and in the BMW world, they've become quite collectible. So let's dive into what we found with our motor. We initially thought we were just going to clean it up a little bit, change the oil, put a battery in it. You know, that can be a motor problem too, but this one has a more severe motor problem. So we've got the engine out, and the bottom end does still turn over, and we checked all the bearings, and everything seems to be in pretty good shape. So we have the original block, we can reuse it. Unfortunately, when we dove in, we found a broken timing chain. And the reason the timing chain broke is because this idler gear, and apparently this is something that happens on these M42 engines, as they're called, they do break off. So that got cocked. Now, whether the chain broke or the idler broke first, we don't know for sure. You know, you're doing detective work as you're going through something and you're looking for clues. This seems to have happened at a low RPM, not high RPM, because we didn't really find anything in the motor. But the cams still look pretty perfect. It is a dual overhead cam engine. They still look good. We did find some crud in the oil pan, but again, we've pulled bearing caps and it did not go up into the bearings. We'll still probably go through the engine, but it's nice to know that we can still use the original block and head. As for the head, it is an interference engine, so when you lose your timing chain, unfortunately you start bending valves, and this one definitely has some bent valves. About half of them. Here is the timing chain, or the remains of it, in its guide. It's pretty messed up. So that's kind of where we're at. Since we've had to take the engine out, I think we're going to change the flywheel. These things came with huge dual mass flywheels, quite a heavy assembly. The key to these things is to try to keep it light and get it spinning well. We've talked to some different experts, and at this point we're leaning towards building a 2-liter out of this engine. That's done using a Z4, an M44 engine crank, and we're going to probably work with Metric Mechanic. We've known Jim Rowe there a long time, and he's kind of an expert on these engines, and having one of these spin 170, 180 horsepower instead of 130 sounds like it might make an entertaining little project car. So that's where we're at so far. We've gotten the car, we've decided we want to fix it up, we've pulled the engine, we figured out what we need. Our next step is to make a parts list and get with our partners, FCP Euro. Fortunately, they have every part pretty much for this car. They've been great to work with so far. We'll make a parts list and go on their website, fcpeuro.com, and figure out what we need next. If you want to read about this in between, our website, grassrootsmotorsports.com, will have constant updates as we make progress.